Alright, so since I'm still waiting on the other side panels, I'm going to start putting in this wheel arch. So I got it there. So I was trying to test fit it. It's kind of a pain because the wheel arch obviously has a different fit, so you can kind of size the bottom up a little bit, but it ends up hidden on the lip. So my plan is I'm just going to come in here, cut out the lip there so I can match it on the bottom. And once I put it on there, I should be able to get a good idea of where it's going to fit. It looks like it's going to probably be right in line with that seam right there. So hopefully I can just get that and keep flange it the whole way over and join it on the front and back, and it should be fine. So I'll cut that out, I'll clamp it on, we'll see what it looks like. So there's the panel fitted on there. So I'll probably end up using the whole panel. I know a lot of times you're supposed to just kind of use whatever you need, but because this one had radius wheel wells, it's all, like when you see when I take it off, it was all welded back on. And when I took the lip off, this is the very bottom, it was all kind of full of filler and stuff like that. So I think this will end up with the best metal possible. So before I did too much, I marked front and back, so I basically knew where it'd be centered. So these should be okay. They're not quite as much of a radius as I wanted. I know on the internet they said they're good for a 27-inch tall tire, which is weird because of course everyone wants a 28, and that's what's on here, and that's what I'm going to put on. So I don't know. I'll figure something out. Either lift the back up or figure something out, I guess, once it goes. It looks cool here with the nose-high stance. So I'll chop all this stuff out, and I'll get you guys a little view before I start welding it all together. So I got the panel all traced out. So what I'm going to do, you can see here, this is where it was radiused and welded back in, so I'll be able to eliminate a lot of that. Unfortunately, I don't know how much I'll be able to flange because the weld goes right up in there, and then this is where the other panel was. So my plan was actually just to kind of flange the top, and I was going to try and butt weld the sides on, but we'll see. So I'll start chopping it out, see when I can fit, and then once I get it all kind of clamped together, I guess you guys will see what I ended up with. I'm not too sure yet either. Be surprised for both of us. Okay, so I chopped out basically the size of the panel. I did 1/2 inch in, so I can flange it if I want to. So I'm going to do that. I actually ended up doing pretty good because I managed to cut out the weld, so I can flange all the way across here, except for just right there is a little bit of weld. And then the center, you can just see right there at the tip, that was the peak of the radius, so I'm going to be able to get rid of most of that as well, so that'll work out good. And on the back, one thing I like to do, and I think just makes a big difference, especially when you're flanging, so I run the grinder on the inside, just to get, if there's undercoating and stuff like that, the flange tool fits way better and does a way better job. So alright, I'll get it all flanged up and hang it back on, see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just doing some messing around here. I ended up flanging the top, worked out good. The front I've cut so it'll be butt welded together, so I've got it fitting pretty close. And then the back I still just got to work. So I'm just kind of working one piece at a time, so I don't screw anything up too bad. And then what I'm using to hold it, when I'm going to butt weld them together, it's these little clamps right here, so you can take this piece out, slide it through, and then it clamps the metal together. So I've just, it's probably hard to tell here, but I've retraced it. So I'm going to take it apart and then just kind of clean up all the edges with the grinder and test fit it again on the back. And then I'm just kind of holding together some, self-tappers. So it should be good. Looks pretty cool, I think. Alright, so I'm all set up with the welder. So I've got the piece pretty much where I want it. I got all sheet metal screwed on the top. On the back I used a bunch of those clamps. I only had 6. So the front, I'm going to have to borrow some from the back once I get it kind of tacked in there. The front actually has a real kind of crazy curve. It curves out and then in and then around. So it'll probably be I'll use a hammer handle or something like that to get it all tacked into place. But otherwise, it looks pretty good. So I'll put you guys on the tripod. for some fast motion welding and see what it turns out when I'm all done. Alright, so I got it all kind of tack welded on there. Seemed to go pretty good. I put a bunch on there, so now I'm going to take out all the little self-tappers and then just a bunch of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth welding. And once it's all kind of together, I'll show you guys how it turned out. Alright, there we have it. Zillion tack welds later. And it's on there. Turned out pretty good. I'll hit it with the grinder. Hopefully it'll all work out okay, but if I have a few spots I gotta come back in and buzz in, I'll do that. But I think the desired effect is there. Looks pretty cool, I think. Alright, so I've got this mostly kind of welded in and all that. I gotta do a little bit more hammer and dolly work in a few spots, but overall it's pretty much there. A little bit more grinding, it's pretty much ready for some filler. So I went up to start working on the door to see what it was like. I started grinding on it, and you can see it's fixable, but there's lots of little patches and whatnot. So actually the guy that I got the flip front end off of, I got a set of doors off him as well. I mean, they look kind of about the rough same shape. This one's got a pretty big whammo right there. I'll have to hammer out, and it's got a hit right there. I can weld back together. And I was actually just straightening out the bottom. Figure I'd get the camera out and kind of show you what I'm doing, but I can do that, weld up some of these holes, and hopefully I'll be able to put this door on. It'll save me a bunch of time. Hopefully it fits nice and everything. And while it's off, I can kind of get in there and grind it all and clean it all up, make it look a little nicer, and bolt that on. So I'll get grinding on this, and I'll show you guys once I get it kind of welded up and start body working it. These old doors are pretty good. They're the metal's so thick you can just really do a lot with them. Where it had a little split there, I just hammered it back, welded it back together, give it a quick grind. Still all wavy and stuff. Once I flip it over, I can hammer it flat, but should be pretty good. That was the only real rough spot of the whole door. I'll just dolly this out so it's nice and straight again and flat. So once I flip it over, hammer that out, weld up a couple of those, and this door should be pretty much ready to go on. It's actually in way better shape than I thought. I actually thought the doors that came with the car were going to be the ones I was going to use, but this one happens to be better in the passenger door anyways. And this one actually looks pretty solid. It's on the car, so I might end up keeping this one, but either way, I'm sure I can flip these two doors to someone else. The doors I take off, and should work out okay. Alright, so I welded up the other side, the little cracks and stuff like that, and a few little holes. Then I just went around the edges with a flap wheel. Got it kind of cleaned up, and I shot with primer because I figured it'll be a pain to get to after. So the door, I mean, it's good enough to test fit on the car, and then I can decide if it's going to fit better or not. So this one's ready to come off. On this side, I actually just slapped a quick load of fiberglass on, just on all the seams and stuff like that. I like to put that on first. So I'm going to pull this door off, and hopefully the other one will fit just as good, but be in better shape, because this one, like I said, it's started grinding on it, lots of holes the whole way underneath. It's going to need a fair bit of work, so if I can save some time with the other door, that's what I'll do. Alright, well, it's been a bit of a weird night. I did mostly moving cars around and stuff, and then I started doing some body work on the quarter here. It actually turned out pretty good. There's a little bit of filler there, too much, but that's how it's going to go. So I just kind of roughed it out in some 80 grit, so I'm going to shoot it with some primer. But overall, it looks pretty good. And then I got this door. You know, it fits pretty good, actually. It sticks out a little bit at the top, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of screwing around there. But overall, it's in way better shape than the other one. And it really has the gasser look now on this side, so Just gonna mask off the wheel real quick. I'll fire this with some primer, just so it doesn't rust. It's all bare metal. And then I want to start working on the inside. So what I did was I did put on, just tacked on a piece there for to keep the wheel well, kind of get all fixed up there. And then down there I got to work on some sort of floor repair. And on the inside I'll undercoat it or do something to make it look all nice. But overall, it's all together and ready for some primer. All right, there it is. Just a quick rattle can primer job, but sure coming together pretty good. I'm really liking the way this thing's turning out. So I think this will probably be it for this video of mismatched stuff. So make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff to the channel. Pass it along to your friends if you don't hate it too bad. Thanks, guys.